gotta start talking about something so we go live. So we're in the middle of it.
Oh, Dave, man, that was hilarious. Hey, this is Johnny Beane. I'm here with Rob Johnson.
Hey, guys.
Hey, man. Davidnesdall. Yeah, he might be a robot tonight.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I might be. Who knows?
You're a little robotish. It's okay.
Would you like to play a game?
Cool. Well, hey. Yes. So Rob, you got a new guitar you want to show off.
I got a new package today, and this guitar basically replaces the, well, I wouldn't say it replaces it, but it's in place of it, I should say. When I sold the blue Ernie Ball Music Man, I was kind of debating what I was going to do, another Music Man, which I'll probably do at some point, or something different. And I didn't have any PEAVEY Wolfgangs at the moment. I've owned many PEAVEY Wolfgang standards and specials over the years. And at the time, I didn't have any. So talked to my buddy Scott, who was looking for a purple flame top Wolfgang standard in a PEAVEY, like what he was playing in the '98 tour. And I've actually owned a couple of them before, and my buddy sent me a couple of pictures of one that he had and was willing to part ways with. And this, without a doubt, is the nicest purple flame top PEAVEY I've ever owned. You can't really tell; it's kind of dark in here, but it's a very bright purple compared to some of the darker ones I've seen.
It looks grape.
Yeah, it's really nice shape. It's got some sick bird's eye on the back of the neck. I'll show you guys real close. Really nice bird's eye.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's not a patent pending model. It's just the regular one. Scott did not know off the top of his head what year this was, but to the best guess, I'll probably do some research tomorrow. I'm going to take the serial number and I'll make a call to PEAVEY and I'll find out. But I'm guessing it's probably like a 99 or a 2000, between the 98 and the 2000. I'll find out for sure tomorrow. But yeah, this is a really nice guitar. Top is really nice. I got it home today, and I actually put a couple of things I did. I took the bridge apart and put a big block in it, put a big brass block in it. The blocks in these PEAVEYs were good anyways, in my opinion, but I had this extra block, compliments of Adam Reaver, and I said I'll throw it in. I also did a modification to the bar. The PEAVEY Wolfgang bars are the old school type collars, so you can actually take them apart, take the two collars off, screw the bar all the way in, tighten it up, put it back onto the washers, and then screw the bottom washer in as tight as you want it, and you can make it so the bar won't come off. And I created that little wiggle room like Ed had on his. So I did that. Put the washers on, eyelets for the fender washers, tuned it up standard pitch, and yeah, this thing just plays great.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, it really rings out loud. Definitely one of the nicer playing PEAVEYs that I've had over the years. I plugged it in. It's got some real nice sounds to it. So I'm really digging this PEAVEY. I definitely like it. Very happy with it. We had a conversation on Monday night, the three of us, Johnny, Dave, and I, and we were talking about the different signature guitars, the PEAVEY guitars, and the Music Mans and the PEAVEY. And I definitely agree. When you're not used to playing the PEAVEY necks, they definitely have a feel of their own. I don't dislike it. I do like it. It's a beautiful neck, and it's super fast. But it's definitely kind of a beast of its own. It's a lot fatter, and as Johnny said in the past, you know, if you play this guitar, it's very difficult to go to another guitar or to start with another guitar and go to this. But if you play the Peavey and you get used to it, it's fine. But it's definitely a different profile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing it.
I'm glad it's not just me, you know, that thought that.
Well, I never really thought much of that until you said that. You guys were talking about it. We talked about it before. But I definitely noticed it now, and the reason I noticed it is because I haven't owned a Peavey Wolfgang in probably 8 months or so. So I haven't played one in 8 months or so. And now that I've been playing the Music Man and the EVHs a lot, you go back to the Peavey and it's like, oh yeah, you can definitely tell. No doubt.
Yeah, it's a totally different neck.
Yeah. And the other thing I just wanted to show real quick on my Wolfgang, my EVH guitar, the Mexican version, I got the bridge on that Dave sent me. Thank you, Dave. You'll notice I also have titanium blocks in there and stainless screws. And so I have that on there now. So this is, you know, it's got the chrome hardware and the actual EVH bridge. And of course, as you know, it's got the arcade.
You know what you need to do? You need to color in that black screw underneath the D-tuner with a silver paint pen.
Yes, yes. Yep. I was noticing that today, Dave. It's a good call. Right here. Where is it? Right down here. Yeah. Color that in. And the only thing I think I might do, Dave, only because you did and I really like the look of it, I didn't think I was going to do it. I think I'm going to replace the tuners with chrome tuners.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Well, take them off your Star. Take them off your Star guitar, and then replace the tuners on the Star guitar with a set of chrome Grovers, because Eddie had Grovers on his original Star in 1980.
Yep. You and I were talking about that. The pictures you sent me, they look great. Looks awesome.
Thank you.
Look fantastic.
They looked grape.
Great.
Man, that's a grape-looking guitar, man.
Actually, yeah, this is a great-looking guitar.
Oh, so funny.
Definitely. So yeah, so that's what I got. Nothing too crazy, but I'm
Now
definitely.
you need to drag it. Now you need to drag it on the ground and make it look like Eddie's and put some holes in it.
Yeah. You know the funny thing is when Eddie was playing that guitar in '98, you never really saw it get abused, and I never really thought that guitar had been trashed until I saw those recent pictures. I mean, Dave, when you saw the guitar, it was in good shape, right? When you played it, Eddie's.
Yeah, it wasn't when I played it. It was immaculate, beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it got beat up over the years and everything, but.
Yeah.
Hey, Faraz just chimed in. He says, "Hey guys, how's it going? Congrats on the Peavey Wolfgang Rob. new guitar grob." He says.
New guitar grob. The unbagging.
Grob.
The grob unbagging. Yeah.
Rog is unbagged a grape today.
Yeah. I'm really digging how it plays.
Hey, I may lose you guys. I may lose you guys in a minute. I'm up in a town with this no cell site, so if I lose you, I'll
Is he speaking English?
Stephen Hawking in there talking. I hear you, Dave.
Dave Nesbot.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Oh, Anthony Sajazi just sent a text message. Hold on. What did he say? Because Anthony's got one.
I said if I lose you, I'll get back to you.
Okay, Dave Nesbot. Anthony says, congrats on the Purple Wolfgang. I'm going to say thank you, my friend.
Anthony. Are you watching this, Anthony?
Yeah, he's got to be.
Cool. Hey, Dave sure is smiling. You just see your face, Dave. By the way, Dave is not driving.
No hands.
That's his friend. Oh, he's still here. Listen to that. You can probably hear us. You probably just can't see us. I'm probably frozen, looking really stupid too, right? To you?
don't know. Just see
Rob and
Dave,
I probably have the weirdest faces.
just see Dave's big face right in the camera. It's so funny. With a big smile on it. Dave Nesbot. Dave, you never smiled this much. What were you so happy tonight? No. Look at his face.
He was never that quiet either.
Oh, goodness.
Faraz, Rob, the chrome nut you got on the EVH Wolfgang. Sorry, let me log in real quick so I can read the whole thing. Faraz says, Rob, the chrome nut you got on the EVH Wolfgang special. Is it the German one or the Korean one?
Let's see. That nut is actually a German one, because that particular guitar came with a black EVH Floyd and black hardware, which was I think the Korean hardware on the Mexican body, I believe.
It's very funny.
When I switched it out to a chrome EVH.
There he goes. Nesbot is gone.
Nesbot is not in the house.
Well, that's good though, because we don't want him using up his data on a.
That's right.
I mean, he can't hear us or see us anyway. So.
No, I had an extra German nut kicking around, and I believe that is a German nut on there, German chrome nut, and I was able to make it fit with a little bit of shimming and some, a couple tricks here and there. But yeah, so that's an original German nut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that I want to say that grape guitar. Your grape guitar, man. It looks. No, really, it does look. It looks great. It looks.
Yeah.
I know you said it. It's kind of hard to see it. Even on here, it looks good.
Yeah.
The real nice color.
It's got a real nice color. This is, like I said, it's hard to tell in as dark as it is in here, but a lot of the purple ones I've owned in the past, or I've only owned 2 of them. This is the 3rd purple one I've owned. They're very, very dark. This one has a very light tinge to it. And it
looks like a popsicle.
Yeah.
Looks like a great popsicle.
A Dave-sicle. but no, I just, like I said, Johnny, you had mentioned the other night when you and Dave and I were talking, you and Dave were kind of going back and forth with with talking about the Music Man and things like that, as far as, what you guys thought of the guitars and the Music Man being the mother to, the PEAVEYs and the EVHs, the Wolfgangs, which I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
But,
totally
Dave was saying that, his Music Man doesn't, it just doesn't have that. He likes the neck and he likes everything about it, but it just doesn't have that ring. It just sounds kind of dead, he said, when we played it. And you guys were talking about it being the bridge. And Johnny, I know you have an original Floyd on yours, and mine is a Music Man Floyd. But one of the things I did to mine, because mine kind of sounded like that, I also put a big brass block in my Music Man. And I'll tell you, mine just really rings so much louder now with that brass block, and it really brought this guitar alive when I did that to it. So I meant to mention something about that the other night. By putting this big block in the back, it made a huge difference in my Music Man guitar. But this thing to me still feels amazing. The neck on this thing is just insane.
Oh yeah.
And going to that Wolfgang from this, like you said, 2 totally different necks, completely different.
Yeah, for anybody watching this who's never played, see, that's the thing, is a lot of people have never played the original Music Man.
Right.
Unless you were around back then and you got one, like me, and like you,
Yeah.
Like a lot of kids. To a lot of kids, even a lot of, everybody else, the Music Man is a very, very rare guitar.
Yeah.
And they're always wondering, like, oh, what's it like? What's it like? Like real quick. I mean, there was this time I was at Guitar Center. I had mine with me. I was playing it, right? And this dude walks by and he's holding the Axis, or like the whatever the cheaper one is now, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Sterling.
Yeah. And he sees mine and his jaw just drops. He's like, that's the real thing.
Yeah.
You know, can I try it? So I let him try it. And he was just like, he couldn't believe it, you know?
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it. Yeah, but to a lot of people, the Music Man is like a real sacred thing because they've never played him. Never tried them. But they're definitely, you know, no matter what Nesdall says, you know, they're definitely worth it. You know, and since Nesdall isn't here, I'll tell you what I think of him. Oh, he's here.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
Dave. Oh.
You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm going to put a Floyd on mine tomorrow, and I'll see how it is after that. But
Dave, I don't know if you caught what I said. You were gone, but we were talking about the Music Man, and one thing I did to my Music Man, because mine also sounded kind of dead, not dead, but it didn't ring, is I also put a big brass block in mine, and that made a world of difference on that original Music Man bridge, and it really, you know, really rings loud now.
yeah.
I don't know if that would make a difference on yours or
Well,
not.
the problem is with me, I can't take that bridge apart again because it was so long to get all
Yeah.
the parts back on it because there's so many shims underneath those saddles.
Yes.
And with my clumsy hands and I can't see well yet,
Yeah.
it was very tough. So I'll save that for a while. I'll just put a regular Floyd on it for now and see what I think. And then, you know, after my surgery, when I can actually see, that's when I'll do that.
Yeah. It might make a difference because I tell you, when I did that to this guitar, it really made a world of difference.
Well, let me ask you this: Did you have shims underneath the individual saddles of that bridge?
No, I did not, and that's what.
And I did.
Yeah, mine did not have any of that because I took that whole thing apart and the saddles came off just like normal. There was no issues. I mean, it's probably been 3 years since I did that to that guitar, but I don't recall having any, you know, major issues with that. You know, putting that back together. So I'm kind of wondering why yours had the shim. That's kind of strange. Unless most of them had the oddball. I don't know.
It is super strange. You know what I may do is I may wait till you come back to my house and I'll let you do it because
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it.
yeah, I'll let you take care of that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it for you. Do you have a big brass block? We can get you one.
No, I'm gonna need to call Adam Reaver.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, the one guitar that I think I might want to put a block on is that Mexican Tobacco Wolfgang. I mean, I have one on the Music Man. I have one on by PEAVEY, and you know, I even have one on my 2015, you know, tour relic.
Hey, hang on a second, Rob. Why don't we do this? I'll make you a deal. I'll buy you a block from Floyd Rose for your guitar if you order one from Adam for me, because I don't. Floyd Rose has my credit card number.
Yep.
But I don't really trust anyone else with it. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
So we'll trade. I'll order you one from Floyd for that guitar, and you order me the one from Adam for my Music Man.
Sure. Yeah, that works. That's not a problem at all.
Awesome.
Not a problem at all. Yeah, because I think the Music Man one was a special one.
It
and
is.
I think Adam's the only
It is.
one
It's
who
made.
got it.
It's made just for that bridge. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Hey, I had a question for you, Dave. What kind of rubber band did you use for the white? You'll notice I have white tape on my pickup here.
A rubber band. I just used a really small but very thick rubber band. It's not quite as big as the pickup itself. It's a little bit smaller than the pickup.
Yeah.
So that it fits in there nice and snug.
Nice. Since I got this guitar, I'll show you. Did a little bit more relicing to it. to create some of the cracking.
Oh yeah, cool, very cool. Yeah.
A little bit more to it. A little bit more around the
edges.
The edges, yeah. And then where the dog clip goes, you know, obviously with that rubbing, you know, you can't do it enough.
Sure.
So yeah, I got a little bit more to do, but yeah, it's coming along good. This guitar, I'll tell you, was really so fun to do.
Yeah.
Really was. I had a good time with it. It's been a lot of fun.
Cool.
And it's nice because
so listen, we're pulling up to the club right now, so I'm gonna split. Good luck with your guitar.
Sounds good. Hey Dennis, have a good gig, my friend.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, have a great time, you guys.
All right. If we get home early enough, which I think we will, I think Dennis is only doing one long set. I'll give you a call later, Johnny. Rob, you'll probably be asleep, so I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, you can text anyways if I'm still up, but hey Dave, no whoring it up tonight. Mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah, I'm always a good boy. I'm always a good boy at gigs.
Yeah. Have fun, guys.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, leave that whammy bar alone.
Have a good time, guys. Have fun. Stay safe.
You're right. You too.
Hey, Johnny, do you have your PEAVEY Wolfgang handy?
Yeah. Yes. Hang on. Let me grab it.
Okay. Oh, I got something to show you guys out there in the video land. I'll wait till Johnny gets back. So Vinny, what's happening? How you liking that guitar, my friend? I hope it's working out good for you.
Okay. Am I here? All right. Here's mine. There we go.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's
How long you had that one, Johnny, again?
Excuse me. I've had this since, I want to say, 2006.
Yep.
About 10 years. 10 years, and it's a 1999.
Yeah,
I believe. And yeah, I was going to say something earlier because you said you were going to call PEAVEY. There actually is a website where it has all the years and all the numbers.
Oh yeah.
Like, remember that Rock and Roll Weekend?
Yes. I think I'll just do that.
You can go to that one, whatever the new one is, whatever.
Yeah, we get off the call. I'll get online and see if I can figure out what year it is.
Yeah, that's how I figured mine out, I believe.
Yep.
It was a long time ago.
The headstock shapes on those. I do like the little scoops. I always kind of dug those. Kind of cool. Kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, and the prototypes, for people who don't know, the prototypes that Eddie had, the scoops were the same color as the body.
Right.
So if this was a prototype, the scoop would be sunburst, painted in there.
Remember the red one that he played during the Balance Tour, the tail end of the Balance Tour? It said he actually had stickers on the bottom. It said PEAVEY Wolfgang. Yeah, and that scoop was painted red, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the coolest guitar out of all of the guitars I have is this tiny little thing right here. It is the coolest guitar. I love this thing. It's so small. My little shred neck.
Is that a Zach Wild?
The stupid thing. I've had this thing for like 3 years, and I just hate it. It sucks because you can't do anything with it. I mean, you try to shred with the thing, and you can't hear anything, so you don't know if you're picking clean or not. I mean, I guess it's good for stretches and stuff like that and pull-offs. But I mean, it's got this little scoop down here. It's like scallop down here, so you can pick. But it's not. I have the Zach one, the Zach Wild one, but.
Yeah.
I don't do anything with it.
I don't think it's meant to be a real guitar. I mean, look at it. It's just a practice tool.
Yeah.
It's probably not even not. It's not probably not. I mean, I've never used one myself, but it's probably not even meant to even be heard. I mean, it's just so you can feel the strings.
Yeah.
And feel what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, So Nesdall's got his green PV Wolfgang now. You've got the that one, and I got the purple one. They're good guitars.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're great guitars. The neck is just so different from the Music Man and the current EVHs. The current EVHs are, I guess, they're kind of a mix between the two in a way, but they're closer to the Music Man to me in a way.
Do you find the necks on these things fatter or like harder to grab, like baseball battish?
They're not fatter. They're wider.
Yeah.
They're more. It's more like they're wide, like a classical.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. If you're used to playing like a classical guitar, this would be more. This would be kind of familiar to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they're great guitars. You know, for me, if this is the one guitar I stick with, I'm totally cool. Totally fine, you know. And actually, I do a lot of my recording, a lot of my studio recording with this guitar. This is the guitar I use.
You still use that for your recording, for the most part?
Yeah. 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 Like I'll be doing some recording tonight for somebody, and this is what I'll be using. You know, because, you know, it's got the whammy bar, it's got the humbuckers. You know, it's a real solid guitar.
How's the action on that? Do you have a high action or a low action for yours?
I'd say it's probably a little high. If you were to see this, you would think it's a bit high.
Yep.
You know, none of my stuff has really been, like I said the other day, a lot of my stuff, the action is high. It's just not set up, because it's not like, you know, Dave gave me this guitar.
Yeah.
Right here, this 1984 Kramer.
Yep.
That one. Dave gave me that guitar as a gift, and once I put it together, it basically fit together like the way he had it.
Yeah. And
the action was so low, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I'd never had action that low on a guitar before.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember when these PV Wolfgangs came out, and I'm sure it was the same with the Music Mans. I didn't buy the Music Man guitar, my Music Man, when they came out. I didn't buy that particular guitar until like 12 years ago. And that was, you know, when the PVs were out. But I remember when the PVs came out, his expectations for what he wanted as far as setup in the factory and shipment and everything, they didn't always go this way. But I remember he used to get, like, Eddie used to get pissed if he'd go to a guitar shop and he'd grab one of their, you know, Wolfgangs off the rack and the action was high or it wasn't intonated or wasn't set up exactly how he wanted. I remember he used to say that. You know, he'd be like, why isn't this guitar set up the way that I have it? You know, I remember he used to be really kind of a stickler for that. And I noticed, you know, over the years, that's kind of gone by the wayside. Now they just, you know, they're pumping these guitars out left and right. And I'm not saying the quality's bad. I mean, I love the quality of these EVHs. I love them. They're great guitars. And I love, like you guys said the other night, the necks, they're super fast. They feel great. But you'll notice they're very inconsistent as far as you go to a Guitar Center or you go to the store here or here. You know, some guitars, they're not intonated. Some guitars, the action's real high. Some that, you know. But then again, you got everybody, you know, screwing with the things at the store, setting them up differently. So it's very hard to control that.
I think it depends on the store.
Yeah.
I think, like I would say years ago. Well, let's go back. Go back to the Music Man guitars. Those came out in 91, right? 91. Didn't the amps come out in 90? Didn't the 1550s?
And the Music Mans came out like right after, right? Or was it the other way around?
I'm thinking the PV 1550 amps came out in 90. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe. The guitars came out in 91. I didn't get to play one till early 92. I was at a guitar shop, at the small, tiny guitar shop in Santa Barbara, California. And the guy had a Music Man guitar, and I remember playing it and being like, wow, this is the stuff, you know, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And if you know if you know California, Santa Barbara is not that far from San Luis Obispo, which is where those guitars were actually made. You know, the Music Man. Well, they're still made, but the Eddie Van Halen's. So anyway, so early. Actually, no, it was like summer. Summer '92 was when I first played one, and then I got one. December '92 is when I got my Ernie Ball.
Yep.
And I've had it ever since. It was my main guitar for a lot of years. You know, and because they're, you know, somewhat rare now, you know, it's not my main guitar anymore. I mean, I still use it here. I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't play a gig with it.
Yeah.
You know, although Nesdall says, "Oh yeah, you know, gig with it." You know, no, man. You go to gigs, stuff gets beaten up, stuff gets stolen. I mean, it's crazy. You know.
Yeah, it's very
stuff gets trashed. You know.
Yeah.
So what was I saying though? Well, yeah. One of the selling points for the Music Man way back when was that was one of Eddie's things. What he would say was, you know, he can go to any store, pick up a Music Man off the rack, and it would be identical to what he uses.
Yes.
You know, which I don't know if that was completely true. You know, because we know people who have played his stuff and then played the other stuff, and they say, no,
totally different.
It wasn't the same.
Yeah,
his was, the quality was way more. You know, but his stuff was prototype stuff though too.
Yeah.
You know,
like who was it that was saying? Well, I mean, Nesdall was saying when he played Eddie's Purple.
Oh, it was Andy. Were you in there with us?
Yes, that's
Andy, right. Andy Aladort.
Yeah. He played Ed's.
Music Man, the yellow one, his main one.
Yeah, and he asked Matt. He was like, "Why does this thing feel so different?" And Matt was like, "That's the one."
He picked it up and he was like, "There's something special about this particular guitar," and that's when Matt said, "Oh, that's the guitar. That's the one he uses."
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And Dave Nesdall said the same thing about Eddie's Purple Wolfgang that he used on the 3 tour.
Yeah.
You know. He said the same thing because he played it. He played Eddie's. He said it was different from the production ones, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and Eddie always says everything's the same exact stuff that I use, and I don't disagree that it's the same stuff. I just think there's obviously you have people, you know. I mean, well, perfect example on Eddie's PEAVEY Wolfgangs. On all the PEAVEY Wolfgangs, it's the only Eddie Van Halen signature guitar that doesn't have the rear mount nut. All Eddies were rear mount nuts. They were custom made for that, you know. So obviously that's one thing.
That's different. So it's going to make it feel different.
Yeah.
It's going to feel different. It's going to, you know, it's going to sound different. But going back to the music store thing, I think back, like you were saying, how the stuff now today, you go into Guitar Center and the quality control is totally out the window.
Yeah.
Which yeah, and you know, well, that's the thing is you walk into a Guitar Center, a store like that, stuff gets trashed all day long, every day. You know, so you pick up guitars, you play them, the knobs are loose, the pots are loose.
Yeah.
The action's, you know, this high.
Right.
The whammy bar might be gone.
Yeah. The bridge,
you know,
the bridge is like this. It's back. You know, I mean, or whatever.
The tremolos are floating.
Yeah.
The what do you call it? The guitar is totally out of tune, and the nut is locked up here, so there's no way you can tune the guitar. That's happened to me many times.
Yeah. Where
I see a guitar I want to try, and there's no way I can tune it. So that's why I've started carrying, you know,
an Allen key
with me in my wallet.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I got
yeah. Oh yeah. There was a time where I mean, I'm not knocking on Guitar Center, but it's true. You know, there was a time where I wanted to try a guitar, and it took them like 10 minutes to find an Allen key. We were walking around the entire store trying to find an Allen key to fit the guitar, and it was. I mean, I felt bad, and I felt bad for the guy. You know,
the kid's like, "What's an Allen key?"
Yeah, yeah. And then there was a time recently where I pick up a guitar there. And same thing, things floating, whatever. And there's no way you could tune the guitar. the bridge kept going, you know.
Yeah.
If it's floating, you keep tuning it, it'll keep being pulled up, you know, which will be like, you know.
Yeah.
And so the guy tunes it somewhat, and he's like, yeah, here it is. And he starts, you know, shredding, you know, to show me, you know, how to play. And so I take the guitar, I play one chord on it. I'm like, nah. I put it back. I'm like, I can't play that guitar.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah.
You know. But getting back to the 90s, you know, or the Music Man, when those came out, I think it was different then. You know, the quality control, the people who worked at the stores, you know, the big stores, Guitar Center or whatever, more of the guitars were actually in shape, you know, in tune. You'd pick up a guitar and it was working, you know. It wasn't like, you know, these days you walk into a store and it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not, and I mean that, you know, that could, you know, have to do with the internet, you know. Well, actually, everything has to do with the internet. I mean, we're on the internet right now.
Yeah.
That's the only way we know each other. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying though, but
well, it's funny too, because I mean, a lot of things have changed over the years, and it's, you know, it's not just that. I mean, back in the 90s, in the early 90s, and even when Eddie started putting these things out, the PEAVEYs, you wouldn't have heard of him allowing a Indonesian or a Korean or a Japanese or a Chinese special. You know, I mean, the Music Man's, I mean, man, I mean, I think Music Man only made something like, what, 5,000 of those guitars a year? They only made 5,000 a year, and they were very controlled. And, you know, Eddie made mention many times that the reason he went with PEAVEY from Music Man was because of, you know, they just couldn't keep up with the quality. And I'm sure there's some truth to that. I think there's some other reasons as well that we've talked about. But at the same time, I think when he first came out with these, I mean, you know, the quality control was just right there. And then, you know, they came out with the specials, and the specials were great. I mean, Nesdall's got the green one, and I had a green special. I've had a red special, and I've had a couple others, and they're great. But then they started making the
specials are still USA, right?
The special, well, there was the USA specials like Nesdall's and the ones that I had, but then there was the I keep wanting to call them Indonesian. They're not Indonesian.
EXP.
EXP. The EXPs are, yeah, the EX. Yeah.
Not ESP.
Yeah, no.
Was it EXP? Is what it was?
Yeah, it was something like that. The EXPs. They were like a.
Were they Korean?
They were a Korean, or geez, I can't believe I can't remember this. They were a Korean, or they were a.
I guess we could look it up, or somebody can look it up. But yeah, those guitars though.
Those were not good.
Those things were bad, very, very,
really bad.
Really
and that
bad.
was right around the time when Ed was kind of. That was around what, 03, 02, 03, when Ed was, you know, 04, when he was, you know, kind of getting ready to terminate his deal with PEAVEY, and, you know, the quality control was getting less and less. But yeah, I mean, everybody knows out there that's watching this what we're saying. They were foreign guitars. They were the EXPs, I believe, the exports. And I've played a couple of them, and there was a couple that were okay. And you could always tell because the tuners were different. They weren't Schaller tuners, whereas the USA ones had Schaller tuners on them. They were kind of a different tuner. And
weren't they Grovers?
Might have been Grovers. And a lot of them did not have the signature on the back, the EVH signature. Some did and some did not. But some of them were, like you said, they were just bad, real bad. And they had the maple cap on them, the veneer tops.
Yeah, they weren't very good. And that's one of the reasons why I was surprised by the quality of even the EVH brand, EVH gear, like the Chinese special, which is what that is right there. When I went to NAMM, a few years ago, I picked up, you know, the Chinese one, the Japanese one. And after the experience with the PEAVEY, export ones. I was thinking, I don't know, but I picked it up off the rack at NAMM, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Even the Chinese EVH gear guitar is great.
Yeah, they are. They really.
I mean, it looks great. Plays great. You know,
I was really surprised. Well, I shouldn't say surprised. They did it right. They really figured it out because I mean, well, it was my Stealth Special. Now it's the 2015. You know, Ford Relic guitar.
What is that? Is that one Japanese or Chinese?
This one's Japanese. It's the flat top, and I'll tell you what. This has the stainless steel frets. When I bought this thing, of course, it was black. It was the Stealth. I was amazed at how well put together this guitar was. It sounds great. It feels great. Of course, the necks on these things are basically the same as, you know, without the, it's, you know, it's a straight headstock. It's not tilt back. The stainless steel frets, ebony fingerboard. Of course, these block inlays weren't there. I put these on myself, and they came out pretty good just to make it look like Ed's. But I was really, really impressed with this guitar. And my Mexican one, the tobacco one, I mean, the reason I got that is when I saw you do the demo of that at Guitar Center. I really liked it. And I wanted something at the time that kind of resembled a PEAVEY, and that kind of looks like a PEAVEY, looks very much like yours.
Yeah.
Very much like yours. And again, that one too, Johnny, it's a Mexican guitar. I'm blown away at the quality of that thing. I mean, they did not miss a beat by going overseas with these EVH Wolfgang specials. They really didn't. Great guitars. I have not played a Chinese one yet, but isn't that what yours is in the back? Yeah, that's a great guitar too.
I'll show you mine. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
Real quick.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
All right. I think it's almost time for me to actually get new headphones. I think my headphones are almost had it. You've noticed I've had this duct tape on here for a while.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
yeah, it's to hold the thing. The thing, you know, busted off, but it still works. But it's getting to the point now where it doesn't want to sit on my head anymore. So I might have to actually buy some new headphones.
Yeah.
But yeah. Here's mine. Yeah, mine's the Chinese Wolfgang special, the hardtail. You know,
I like that.
That's what mine is, and mine was basically just I put together myself from actual parts. You know, So it's the Wolfgang. So you know, mine has the red burst headstock.
Yeah.
You know, because this neck is from the cherry burst model, but the body is the Stealth. So that's why a lot of people, they ask me, oh wow, you have a Stealth with a maple neck. How'd you get that? You know, it's like I put it together myself.
I like the look of that. Now, is that flat top?
Yeah.
Okay, it was the Mexican one. The Mexican versions are the ones that do the archtops. That's right.
The recent ones, yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the archtops, like the one that you have.
When I got this guitar, the Japanese Stealth, it's a flat top, and then I started noticing they're making the specials, the Stealth specials with the archtops. Well, one that's the Mexican version, I think, is making it.
There's a Mexican Stealth, which is archtop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I don't think they have stainless steel frets on those.
No. They have the what is it, nickel? It's the bigger frets.
Right, like mine right there. Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
Now, if I could have got, what I wouldn't mind doing is getting that body in Stealth and then this neck, because it's got the stainless frets, you know, the Japanese neck. And then you can part those together, and you pretty much, other than having, you know, the non-tilt headstock, you pretty much have the best of both worlds, you know. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, you could mix and match. You know, I mean, that's what Eddie does. I mean, look at Eddie's. Look at recent photos of Eddie and his guitars. They're all mixed and matched, and like the photos of him with George Lopez, you know, you'll see a Stealth with like a black
Yeah.
Wolfgang pickup, you know, with the zebra and the black down here.
Right. Right.
It was like a Stealth or like a gray, but it had like a striped headstock.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different because he also had the backstage guitar where it was a striped Stealth.
Yeah. Yeah. The
You
real
know?
striped Stealth. Yeah. That was.
So that neck with that headstock was probably on that guitar, and he just swapped them out.
Yeah.
You know, his stuff, he's always switching around, always, you know, trying to do new things. So a lot of times when people say, you know, I wonder what Eddie uses, he uses everything. He has everything. He uses everything. He's always changing stuff. Always, you know, always trying to get. He's always evolving to get the next new sound.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about sound.
Well, it's like all those years playing maple necks. You know, always maple necks. An occasional rosewood neck, like the Destroyer, or you know, that Dan Electro neck that he loved. You know, that he had on the Frankenstrat pre-Us Festival there, and the Starfleet project, and the Dan Electro neck on his Star, which potentially could have been that same neck. There's still questions if that neck was the same one. They just added a piece on the headstock, but yeah, maple necks all those years. You know, unfinished maple necks, and then you know, out of the blue, all of a sudden he's playing ebony. You know, and he just loves ebony. It's constantly changing. You know. Constantly evolving.
Well, I mean, all those companies, you know, Kramer built guitars for him that he turned down.
Yeah.
You know, what was it? They actually built a like a Destroyer style, like a Star style model for him, and he didn't like it.
Yeah,
I think that's something I heard, and then I think Paul Unkert, when we were talking to him, I think he confirmed that.
Yeah. There's pictures on the internet. I think it's on Vintage Kramer. There's an old picture. If you search through the pics section, there's a picture of one of the guys from Kramer. I don't know if it was George Felice or who it was. I forget what the guy's name was, but holding that body, and it was, yeah, Eddie hated it. He liked the headstock. So they kept the neck for the Kramer ad guitar. I think that because that was the neck they were going to use, and then somebody ran. The way Paul tells the story is they were looking for a body, and they didn't have any bodies kicking around. And then the way Paul Unkert tells it, this is what he said when we were hanging out that night before we did our video call. Somebody said, "Hey, someone go upstairs and grab that old Walker body we got up there." So somebody ran upstairs and grabbed this old Walker body, and you know. The guy's name was T.J. Walker. That was the guy's name, and he had some deal with Kramer, and they made all these bodies. And that's the you know, T.J. Walker was the guy that kind of had that style and had the big fat horns, you know. And they married that body up to that neck, and that was the Kramer ad Frankie.
And there's photos of that online.
Yeah.
If you guys are familiar with the photo of Eddie playing the wooden. Just a wooden guitar with no paint, but it has the striped headstock. That's what Rob's talking about.
Yep. But yeah, the guy's name was T.J. Walker, and that's where the term Walker body came from.
Dynamite.
Like T.J. Hooker, remember that?
Oh. Oh yeah, I love T.J. Hooker, man.
I like Heather Locklear.
Yeah, that's a great show, man.
All the younger guys out there watching us are like, huh? What the hell are these guys talking about?
Vinny is commenting. I was there at Paul's house. He showed me the photo.
You were not. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool, Vinny. Vinny,
Yeah.
how do you like your guitar? I don't know if I'm sure he can hear me, but.
Yeah, I think he's watching. We have a lot of people watching us. Hey, hello everybody watching. Thanks for watching this stuff. We appreciate it. And if you dig stuff like this, feel free to subscribe. We're looking to do these things on a regular basis, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at what did we start this at? Roughly 5 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah, about 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we'll stick to that schedule, and of course Dave Nesdall had to jump off because he's teching for his friend's band tonight.
Little shout out on Wedding.
Shotgun Wedding.
Shotgun Wedding is
that's the band.
That's the band's name. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching their video. Did you see the music video they did?
Yes. They're really good. The guitarist, Dave's friend, Dennis, is just, I mean, I've watched him play when I was at Dave's house a couple months ago. He's phenomenal. He picked up my Steinberger Transtrem guitar. He'd never played one in his life. Never played one. I always heard about him. And the guy does not play Van Halen music. That's not his thing. He can play it, but that's not his thing. I mean, he just doesn't chew. I mean, they're more of a country twangy, little bit of rock, in their type band. They're really good.
Yeah, they're rock, but it's more of like country rock.
Yeah, it's like country rock.
Country rock stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to hear Dennis, that's Nesdall's roommate. If you want to hear him play, and it's Van Halen related somewhat, he actually did the demo for the LBX. He actually, the Music Zoo, which is one of the main shops for EVH products on the East Coast, or I guess, well, they're based in New York, but anybody can buy from the Music Zoo. Right. Dennis did a video for them for the LBX, the EVH Lunchbox amp. So you can actually, if you check that out, that's him. That's Nesdall's roommate. So I think he did like a shootout or something of like different 15-watt heads, I think, and that was one of them.
Yeah, he's an amazing guitarist. Amazing guitarist.
Yeah, and we're gonna do a rig rundown with him at some point in one of these hangouts. Check out his gear, his pedals, his guitars. So, but yeah, he's great. He's great. So yeah, so he's playing tonight. He's playing a gig, and Nesdall is teching for him.
Watching him mess around on that Steinberger guitar of mine that night. Like I said, he'd never played one before. Never played one.
Dennis or Nesdall?
Dennis. Well, Nesdall hadn't either, I don't believe. And but Dennis picked it up, and he's like, "Oh, this is one of those Steinberger guitars." Right off the bat, he's got the bar, and he's blocking it up, and he's wow, and he's doing all this crazy stuff with it. And I'm just sitting there in awe, like, wow. I mean, the guy does not play those kind of guitars, doesn't really play that kind of music, but he related to it like that, and he knew exactly kind of how to work it. And he had a lot of fun with it. He couldn't put the thing down. And I mean, that whole weekend, and Nesdall and, none of those guys could put the thing down because it's such a funky little guitar to play.
Anthony Sajazi. Yeah, he posted that photo of him holding that thing. Yeah, he didn't want to let it go during that whole Unkert thing we did. He was like holding the guitar the whole time,
Even Unkert held it, and he picked it up, and Paul was just like, "Wow, I haven't seen one of these in a while," he said,
Let's see. We've got some comments real quick, and then I know you have to bail pretty soon.
I got a little bit more time. But
Faraz, this was 40 minutes ago. Faraz says, "How did you make it fit? Because I would like to fit the German one on mine too." I'm assuming. I don't know. Are you talking about the Music Man?
He's probably talking about my Mexican guitar, because he was asking if that was an original German nut or if it was a.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, mine it just fits. There's no problem. I brought it to my guitar tech, and he, he did it. I mean, there was no issues with it. I'm not really sure, because that's not a game. It was an original German. And it fits, and it's the width is right, everything lines up right. There might have been an issue with the holes in the back not being quite right, but if that was the case, the guy that I brought it to is really, really good. He's top notch. He would have you know, bored out those holes a little bit to get them the right width, or angulate them a little bit with a drill bit if he needed to. This guy's amazing, the guy that I read my guitars to. He can do anything. Never once have I brought him something that he couldn't make fit. I've seen him fix necks with back bows to him. I've seen him do some real crazy stuff. And but I know for sure this is a German nut. He made it fit. The clamps the top clamps might not be German, but original, you know. But I know the nut is itself. So, but yeah, I'll tell you, Johnny, these guitars, they really are. They're awesome. They really are.
Yeah, I got to get one of those things.
I love the nut. Which one would you get if you were going to get one?
If I was to get one of the Mexican specials, including the new ones?
Yeah.
The new finishes? Oh, let me think. I would say, I don't know. I would take any of them.
Yeah,
they're great guitars. Yeah, I would take. If you guys want to send me one, I'll take any color there is.
Yeah, they are good guitars. That's for sure.
Nesdall has the red one. There's the green one.
He was talking about getting one of those too, wasn't he? Nesdall.
There's the green. I think he's he might be caving in to get the green one as well.
Think of a bet on how long it takes for Nesdall to get another guitar. I bet you by this time next week, Nesdall has another guitar.
Yeah, that guy's a real problem.
I
know. You know, I mean, he's getting all these cool guitars. I'm having to put my guitars together. You know, I have to piece mine together from parts. You know.
Yeah.
And he's getting all the brand new stuff. I'm trying to think what the colors are. What are the new? There's the one you have, that one.
Yeah.
There's a stealth one.
There's like a white one. There's a purple one. No. Those are the they have like the Strat body type. You know the ones I'm talking about? They have the cutaways on them. Those are the Wolfgang. Those are the ones that they don't have the detuners on them. You know what I'm talking about?
The standards?
Yes. Yeah, I'm talking
Indonesian?
Yeah, I'm thinking about this.
Oh, that purple burst? Yeah. That's the new standard ones.
The Mexican ones though, yeah, they're what are the finishes they have? Yeah, the green one, the red one, this one. It's all kinds of them.
Let me see. EVH. Look up real quick. Yeah. There's the stealth one. There's a white one. There's the one that you have.
Yeah.
There's like a natural one. There's like a cherry. It looks like a cherry one. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones, and then with the newer ones, there was the satin finishes, the red one.
Yeah.
That he has, the green one, and then I think there was another one too. I'm just scrolling through like random photos.
The only thing I don't like about the new Wolfgangs, I hate these screw-on bars. I don't like those. The screw always comes loose because I don't like my bar tight. I like it to dangle, kind of like that, like Ed's does. And the nut always comes loose, so I'm constantly down there tightening it up, just to where it grabs, so it'll still dangle. That's the one thing about the EVH Floyds I don't like is that, but I mean they're easy enough to switch out to an original collar.
Oh, there's a gold one. Okay, that's right.
Yes, the gold one too. Yeah,
there's a gold one, which I only saw at NAMM. Some of those finishes on the new standards are nice though too. You know, there's the Snow White. There's the Silver Burst, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, you know, the Les Paul look. You know, there's a blue.
Isn't there a black one too?
Yeah. A slightly older model one, yes. There's a photo of me. The photo of me holding the
yeah, that's your avatar, isn't it?
the white one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all great.
They're great.
I'd play any of them. I'd play any of them. I play this one. This one I threw together. You know, threw together from parts.
Guitars.
But let me see. Let's see. We got some comments here.
Okay. Real
quick. And yeah, thank you everybody for watching this stuff. If you have any questions or comments, you can just leave them on this video. You can leave them on Facebook. You can instant message me if you want on Facebook, or you can tweet me. I'm on Twitter as well. Okay, here's some comments. Douglas, when the love of tone and your I can't even read. Perpetuating.
I can't think that.
That's a big word.
Yeah.
$1 million business machine happens. Things will evolve. Nothing will ever replace these guitars, and they are destined for history. I know there was nothing like a tone wood, lol, which does not exist, but my guitar has a crazy swell when it decides to carry sustain with a tube amp at high volume. Purely a joy to play and make work with my untalented fingers, Douglas says. And he also continues and says, I'm late to your 5150 Music Man videos. Do you think if Eddie would have stayed with Music Man exclusively, his guitars would become the premier rock guitar? Question mark. I have two, and they have a great tone swell with a high volume tube amp. We all know now that tone wood is a myth, lol, but I love mine, and it's a joy to play. Thanks. Sorry if I'm getting off the reservation. I think those are almost like two comments meant to be like one comment.
Yeah.
I think. Well, yeah, the Music Man guitars are definitely, you know, Eddie said when they debuted those things in '91, he actually did an interview with MTV News, and I've got the clip.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Where he's outside his studio, and he's next to his golf cart, and he's got the guitars in the golf cart, and he picks them up, and he's like showing. He picks up like the yellow one. He's like, "This is my main guitar. I've used this to record the whole record." You know, that's what he's saying, and he's talking about how many they make. You know, like most guitar companies make so many guitars, you know, a month. And how Music Man is only making so little, you know, a year.
Right.
Those guitars, and so they're very, they are very
controlled.
Well, limited.
Yeah.
You know, but that goes back to like what I was saying earlier about how, you know, if I take mine to Guitar Center, people see it and they start fainting.
Yeah.
I actually had one of the guys at Guitar Center that worked at Guitar Center. He's like, "Oh, can I take a photo with that?"
Yeah.
So he was like holding it, like taking, you know, I was taking pictures of him.
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted photos of him with the guitar. He'd never seen one.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they are so rare. I mean, you never see those things. I mean, yeah, you can find them on eBay, and you can find them on Reverb and stuff like that, and they'll go anywhere from $2,300 to $3,600, you know, depending. But they're usually coming in. I see them coming in the high 20s, or 27, 28, 29. You know, and to answer the question, the gentleman, I forget his name a minute ago, but
Douglas.
Douglas, yeah, Douglas. I think the Music Mans are, to this day, I think they are still a guitar that's going to be remembered forever and go down in the history of rock guitar. I mean, I have stacks and stacks of Guitarworld and Guitar for the Practicing Musician, magazines from the 90s, and ads of that, infomercials, ads, what do you want to call them, of that guitar. And, Jerry Cantrell and all the different, Dweezil Zappa and all the different guitarists that loved those things, that Eddie gave guitars to. I mean, that still probably is, in my opinion, one of the most, premier rock signature guitars. And you still got guys like Steve Lukather and, those guys. They're still using Music Man guitars to this day. Not the Eddie Van Halens, but they're still using Music Man guitars. And I mean, look at the guitars. I mean, Music Man still basically makes that guitar. They make the Axis version of it, and they started coming out with a Sterling, what are they, AX40s or something like that, what they call them?
Yeah, the X40.
Yeah, those are good guitars too. And, a couple of different modifications. They have, the cutaway in the back, so it fits the body a little better, and the toggle switch and stuff, but basically the same guitars. And I think the necks are a little different, right?
Yeah, the necks are a lot different.
Yeah.
They're not
What's the differences, Johnny? I've heard of them, but do you know?
Well, right off the bat, basically, you go up the neck, and on the axis, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Whereas the Music Man, it's not like that.
Right. Okay.
So that's a major difference. And I got to get a new camera. That's what I got to do.
They definitely are good guitars, though. I mean, honestly, I would say I already missed my blue one. The one that I got rid of. And the wonderful gentleman, I'll just give him a shout out, Brian Denny. I hope you don't mind me giving your name. He texted me today and was looking forward to watching our video tonight because he wanted to see the new Wolfgang that I got. He absolutely loves his Music Man. Had a unfortunate little accident when it shipped. It was shipped in a hard case, and there was a couple of other packing reinforcements that I put in the box, and everything was original hard shell case and everything. And when he got the guitar last Friday, he sent me a text message, and there was a I'll just show you on mine. On the back of his guitar, right around here, right about here, there was a big, huge split. Someone dropped the guitar, and it came down hard and must have whaled itself somewhere inside the case. It had to have been a very hard fall because the paint had flaked off, and it was just, you could see right down to the bare wood. It was about an inch long. And he sent me the picture, and to this day, knock on wood, that was the first time ever I've shipped a guitar ever and had any damage occur, and I felt horrible, horrible, horrible. I mean, here's this guy that just spends, a lot of money on a guitar that he's wanted his entire life, and he gets it and he loves it and he looks at it and it's got this big ding on, right here. The guitar played fine. There was no other damage. And he I mean, filing a claim is a major pain in the ass and can be extremely time consuming, and you never even know how you're going to make out. It doesn't matter if it's insured or not. It's just a total pain in the ass. So I'll just give him a little bit of credit, a lot of credit. He said, let me see what I can do. And he used some super glue, some black fingernail polish, and I think a little bit of wet sanding. And in about 2-3 hours time, he had it looking to where you could barely even tell there was any damage at all. He filled it in, sanded down where the paint had flaked off, and added the fingernail polish with the super glue, and then I think a final coat, wet sanded it, another little coat, and kind of blended it. Mm-hmm. And you can't even tell. I mean, kudos to Brian Denny. Good job, Brian. And I'm glad it worked out for you, because I was pretty upset that it happened, because, obviously took some time to make sure it got to you safe and sound, and you know, it is what it is, I guess. But he loves his guitar, and I'm glad. You know,
what's his name?
Brian Denny. He's on Links. He's on VH Links.
Brian Denny.
Brian Dennehy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Brian Denny a he?
Yeah. So, but I definitely miss it already. That was a great guitar, and I have my amber one now, my original, you know, Eddie Van Halen, and you know, got the 5150 sticker on, and the pickup swapped, and the big brass block, and yeah, they're great guitars. You can't beat these necks, though, man. I'm telling you, these necks are just insane. You know, they really are.
Yeah, well, that was my favorite neck all these years, and then the new evhgear necks to me are the next step. You know, I mean, my favorite now would be the evhgear.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, this neck right here is basically an exact digitized copy of the Kramer 5150 neck. Really, if you believe what had been put out there all those years. So it's really interesting when you look at these necks, and then you see what he did when he went to PEAVEY. I mean, these are very asymmetrical necks in a lot of ways. But then you look what he did with PEAVEY, and it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? It's totally different. Not necessarily in a bad way, but totally different, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I hold this guitar and I play this guitar right now, and then I go pick up that PEAVEY, and it takes me about 5-10 minutes to get used to it, and then I'm fine. You know? Then I'm fine. Switching from that guitar to another guitar is easy, but switching from another guitar to that guitar is difficult.
It's weird. Yeah, it was always kind of weird for me either way, you know, because I would take both to the studio.
Yeah.
Well, you know, going to record, you know, I would take, you know, you take your nicest guitars, and for me at the time, you know, I'm talking, you know, several years ago, was the Music Man and the PEAVEY.
Yeah.
You know, before I had the evhgear. And they're very, I mean, they both sound great, but yeah, to play, it takes a little bit to get used to switching them around. Let's see. Vinny says good stuff. Douglas says thank you. You're live. You're welcome, man. And yes, we're very live. So let's see. Let's take a couple more questions or comments. Let me see. There was something. Okay, we got that. Did we get this one? Bruce Wayne. So what would you guys recommend as far as wood goes when it comes to making an EVH style Strat guitar?
Well, I guess it kind of depends on what version you're trying to make. I mean, if you're going to use if you're talking necks, I mean, you know, maple, I guess. If you're talking bodies, if you're going to be going like a 5150 or a Kramer style, I mean, I would stick with poplar, because that's basically what, you know, Ed used most of the time. And that comes right from Paul Unkert, the guy who made most of those. And if you're going to go with like a Frankenstrat or something like that, I mean, you know, maybe a little bit heavier, like an Ash or something like that. I mean, my Frankenstrat guitar is so much heavier than my 5150. I mean, just crazy heavier, you know. I mean, here's my 5150, and, you know, it's poplar and everything. And here's my Frankenstrat, and it's like a tank because it's made of ash, you know. Two totally different things. So that would be my take. What about you, John?
I really don't know. Like all the technical stuff that you guys know, I really don't know much about that stuff. I know what I like, and I know what sounds good. And
yeah. From what I recall, the Frankenstrat, I believe, was ash, swamp ash. I mean, it's debatable, but that's what I've read. very, very heavy, like mine. And the 5150, I know the whole basswood poplar debate, but I'm still going with poplar. And that Scott Smith and Paul Unkert and all those guys say it was poplar, so that's what I'll stick with. Very light, and most of the Kramers were also that way too. I know my Hot for Teacher, my 84, my Neptune, those are all poplar. I believe the Kramer Ad Frankie was a Walker body, but that might have been ash, because I believe, from what I've heard, that was also a very heavy body, very heavy. I know not all the Kramers, not the Eddie Van Halen versions, but Kramer did use different types of wood later on, I believe, because those old Kramer deluxe guitars, the deluxe Pacers, the 3 pickup guitars. I had one of those, and it was like a tank, very, very heavy body. So I'm not really sure what that was, but as far as the Van Halen replicas, I mean, I would, the Frankenstrat, I would go with ash, and poplar with the Kramers. My take.
Jim says, "Hi guys, what's your take on basswood bodies? People say they're cheap. What gives?"
I like them. I like them. The tonal quality. I have one of my guitars. I think it's my Neptune. I think my Neptune's basswood. Sounds great. I love them. And I think a lot of it, people spend a lot of time worried about the wood and, this or that. And I mean, you can pretty much take an old cheap plywood guitar and change the sound of it, put a good Floyd in with a big brass block and titanium blocks, good pickup, and then dial the sound in with your amp, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, obviously you want to get good wood, but
yeah, I mean, I've always said it's really all about your amp.
Yeah,
I've always said this. You can play the greatest guitar in the world, but you could be playing it through, the crappiest amp. It'll sound like crap.
Yeah.
Or you can take the crappiest guitar in the world, play it through an amazing amp, and it'll sound decent.
Exactly.
So it really has to do with whatever amplifier you have. So if let's say if you're just starting out, or if you're wanting to build your own guitar, or if you want to get a really nice guitar, I would say look and see, what amp are you using currently?
Yeah.
You might want to consider upgrading your amp first.
Right.
Go to the store, play like whatever guitar you want to get, play through a great amp, and then get the amp first.
Right.
Maybe. And then, so by the time you save up and you get the guitar, you already have the great amp and you're set.
Right.
I think that's what I would do.
That's the key. And the other thing too is, I mean, look at all the stories of, people playing through Ed's rig. I mean, Ed will play his guitar through his amp and it sounds like magic. And then someone will also say, hey, Ed, I mean, I'm not going to give names because they're all great guitarists, but they'll say, hey, can I try your rig? And Ed's like, sure. And they play and it's like, it sounds like crap or it's just unbearable. They can't, they can't control it because it's just so over the top, and it's in the fingers. It's in the individual. It's in the player. Of course it's in the amp. I totally agree with you. It's absolutely in. You can dial the sound you want in with the amplifier, but a lot of it I think too has to do with the player. I mean, you can make, funny story. When I first started playing guitar, I haven't played guitar very long. I've only been playing guitar for like 20 years. I'm 42 years old. I've only played for 20 years. It's something that I always wanted to do. I've been a Van Halen I've been a Van Halen fan for a long time, but I kind of got a late start. So I started playing guitar in like 95 or 96. So it's been like 20 years. And about 2 years into playing guitar, took lessons for a year and a half or so. Then I just stopped because I could pretty much play Van Halen by then, And I remember this guy that I met. I'll just give his first name. His name was Russ, and he didn't have a lot of money. He lived in kind of an old beat up place in a town nearby, and he had this kind of cheapo Kramer kind of knockoff guitar that he kind of half-assed striped up and kind of looked awful. I mean, I remember I went up to his house one day and I had no idea about this guy, what he played through or anything, or kind of guitar it was. He just wanted to play Van Halen. So I brought my I bought my first PEAVEY WOLFGANG. So this would have been like 97. It was a black standard, patent pending. And I was so proud of that guitar. And I could play, but I really wasn't that great. And I went out to this guy's house, this kid's house, and I'm looking at this Kramer, the striped Kramer, and it looked like total crap. I mean, the action was high and the bridge was all messed up, wasn't intonated, it looked awful. And this kid plugged in, and to this day, I will say, he was playing through a little Rockman system through his stereo. And I'll tell you what, this kid was just making.
I did that too.
Yeah. It was unbelievable, Johnny. This kid, the way his fingers moved and the feel that he had. I mean, he had the crappiest equipment, but man, could this kid play. And it just goes to show you, it's a lot of people spend so much time getting all this great equipment. All these guitars we have, I mean, they're all great, but, how do you play? I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to that too.
Mm-hmm. Well, it really depends on how. I mean, it depends on just enjoying what you do.
Yes.
There's people that play guitar just to play guitar. There's people that get a lot of guitars and they like them and they have them and they play on them now and then. Myself, all the guitars I have, I use.
Yeah.
I use mainly for recording. I have just, I have a few guitars for live that I actually use. Yeah. But other stuff I have for particular needs, like I use this guitar to record a certain thing. Because I know they all sound different. Even though those two guitars look the same, they sound different. They play different.
Sure.
They do look identical, but they're not the same guitar. But I mean, for me, I'm really into writing. I'm really into writing music, performing, whatever. And I just happen to play the guitar. So I do love to play the guitar. I enjoy actually playing the guitar, but I use the guitar as a tool to create music.
Now, let me ask you this, Johnny. When you write, you know how Eddie doesn't read music, or says he doesn't, and really probably doesn't have a very incredibly high knowledge of theory. I mean, he's just a player and has incredible talent. When he writes, I don't think he sits down and actually writes. I think he actually picks up the guitar and just hits record on the box and plays. And if he hears something he likes, I want to, he'll just build off of that. Is that kind of how you record? Do you just pick up the guitar and just start riffing? And like, if you like it, that's what you work off of?
Yeah.
Or do you actually physically write notes down and note?
No, that's not rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah. I pick up a guitar and I just play on it, and that's one of the problems. Is every time I pick up a guitar, every time I can play a guitar for 10 minutes, and I just start coming up with just ideas, parts. So my iPad is full of ideas, riffs, little musical pieces, or whatever. That's one of the problems. That's why when I get to a Guitar Center, unless I go there to particularly review an instrument, to review something like these videos that I shoot, or to show something, I generally don't play, because anytime I pick something up and I'll hit one chord and I'll just get inspired.
Yeah.
And I'll end up coming up with an idea. It's like, I got to remember this now. But now these days you can have little programs on your phone. So I do have a studio on my phone, a multi-track studio that I can. I've actually done this many times where, I'll actually record the ideas. I'll go in their platinum room at Guitar Center and record my ideas, little multi-track things, whatever.
Yeah.
Or shoot videos. I've got videos of me playing just pieces of ideas or whatever,
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you just go back to it later. You save them up. You know, if there's one you remember, oh, that was kind of cool. You go back and you remember it, and then you build a song around it.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying though, for me, my main reason for playing the guitar, what it's turned into, is to make music.
Right.
You know? I just happen to play the guitar. But you know, it's not like I play guitar just to play guitar.
Right.
You know? I mean, I do. I enjoy playing, but my main focus when I pick up a guitar is to actually write something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my main. To me, it's all about creating stuff. You know, it's not about playing as cool as you can, looking as cool and as good as you can. You know,
looking bitchin'.
Yeah, looking bitchin'. You know, it's not. Well, I mean, look at me. You know,
you look bitchin'.
I'm a nerd.
Not as good as Nesdall does, but
I'm a dork. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nesdall. Yeah, he's not a bad guy. He'll be watching this later, so we gotta.
We'll behave.
We gotta behave here.
You know,
Okay.
Said that though, real quick. The last thing I'm just gonna say is I'm also not a I'm a guitarist, but I'm not really a musician because I'm a martial artist who that's my profession, and I play guitar. I'm a Van Halen fan. I'm a guitarist, I guess you could say, but I played in a Van Halen tribute band years ago, this small little local band. You know, we had a lot of fun. I'd love to do that again sometime. I really would. I'd put my chops up again and get back to doing that. But it's funny because over the last 6-8 months, all of a sudden now I'm in this mode where when I come up here and I sit down, of course, this is a new place for me relatively. This is my new house I live in since December, this new lifestyle I'm trying to adjust to. I'll come up here and I'll sit in my guitar room and I'll pick up a guitar, and all of a sudden now my idea of playing is a little different. I mean, yeah, there's times I just want to play Van Halen stuff or whatever, noodle. But now like you said, I'll hit a chord and I'm like, whoa, that inspires me, and I'll play this little riff, and I'm finding myself hitting the record button on my phone and coming up with riffs and coming up with little musical ideas. So it's kind of interesting at my age now, all of a sudden I'm finally starting to break out of this, playing Van Halen, AC/DC, whatever songs I've been playing all these years. I'm finally now starting to turn into a little bit of kind of like a little bit of a musician. So it's kind of fun, kind of enjoying it, I've been kind of studying up a little bit more on theory, and there's this guy that I've been going to see, was kind of training me on some different ideas, because I don't read music at all. I mean, I kind of know a little bit of theory, but very, very sloppy. I can kind of tell you what key I'm playing in, but I really don't have a clue what I'm doing. I just, as Eddie always said, there's 12 notes on the fretboard, and however you put them together is up to you. So I know what I'm doing, but I kind of, like Nesdall says, he's got really good ears. I basically play by ear, mostly, But it's kind of fun, the new take on this whole guitar thing. It's kind of like a new beginning for me, kind of enjoying it.
That's great. I mean, that's great that you're inspired, because that's what it's all about, is just being inspired to play.
Absolutely.
To play, to create, like I was saying, for me, the main thing is to create.
Yeah.
I'd rather write a piece of music that I'm really, really proud of, that I think is good, that other people dig. I'd rather do that than play some bitchin' guitar solo that doesn't even make sense. That it's like, well, I'm not going to name any names, but I'd rather, well, let's just take Van Halen. Here's my take on the whole thing. I'd rather hear Eddie play one note than hear Yngwie play a million notes.
Yeah.
It's more, one of the reasons I love Eddie is for his style, his sound, the way well, if you guys are watching this, I think you know what I'm saying, Anyway, okay, let's take a couple more quick things. Let's see. Michael Smith. I actually love the look of the guitar and the color. quick question. I think he's talking about your purple one. I've heard there are lots of fakes floating around on eBay. Is it wise to try and buy one from there? I think are you talking about the? Well, let's just say in general. I would say any guitar you buy on eBay, make sure you do your research, because there are counterfeit EVH gear guitars out there.
Yeah.
You know, the headstock is like bigger, doesn't look right.
Yeah.
I would say any guitar you buy on eBay, do your research, get as many photos of it as you can, and yeah, mainly do your research. Know what it is that you want and that you're looking at.
And don't be afraid to ask for a serial number, so you can call Music Man, or you can call PEAVEY, or check it on the website and see what manufacturer date is. And you can do that. You can run the numbers on the Van Halen signature guitars. I don't know about the EVHs, but I know the PEAVEYs and the Music Mans. I've always found out and verified via phone or internet on the authenticity of the instrument.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mainly do your research, and if you can, if you can, I would get something in person. If there's something at a store.
Yeah.
You can go to stores like the Music Zoo and play their stuff. They can order a lot of these places, Guitar Center. They can order you the stuff. Okay, real quick, Bruce Wayne. This is less a question, more of a statement. But seeing how Eddie, especially in the early days, used a lot of different pickups, what kind of highlights? Huh? Oh, which kind of highlights that it is more about the fingers and less the guitar? The different pickups he uses. Use a lot of different pickups. Well, I mean, he's always looking for the next sound. He's always trying to evolve from what he's using currently. It's always changing, and that's any musician that especially if you're into recording, if you're writing, you're always looking to make your sound you're better. And I think a lot of guitar players are always looking to make their setups better, their equipment, their stack, whatever, they're always trying to improve on it. But I think there's other people. It really depends on what you're thinking about,
Yeah, totally agree.
I mean,
kind of goes back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago. I mean, the pickups. You can put any kind of gear or any kind of amp, and it's the talent that you have coming out of your fingers and how you interpret what you're doing.
Yeah, and you can always create. You can always create a sound as well. You can. I mean, I've got a million pedals. I've got a bunch of guitars. You can always mix and match and find certain special sounds.
Yeah.
And get inspired by that to make a new song, to record something. I mean, it's endless, the mixing and matching of pickups. I mean, currently my favorite pickups are these things.
Yeah.
I mean, well, since we're talking about evhgear anyway, I mean, that's
yeah, they're great pickups.
I love them. I love them. I mean, I love Seymour Duncan. I love, DiMarzio's. Yeah, well, the ones that are in the Music Mans are great.
Yeah. Those are almost more of a tone zone-y type DiMarzio, I think, aren't they? They were always kind of.
That's what they say. They say the pickups were like stock, like Tone Zone, and what was the other one? Air Norton, maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Something. Okay, Bruce Wayne. Last question, because we go to split. Have either of you owned or thought about trying to get a reissue Marshall 1959 SL?
No, on me. I've never.
Myself? No. Not right now. I'm sure they're good. I mean, there's a lot of great amps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff out there. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, you get what you can afford to use, and with all this gear, with guitars, amps, pickups, whatever, it really depends on what you're trying to do
Right.
with the stuff. If you like to play just to play, you can use anything.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to have, you know, guitars that, that are like Van Halen, like the older ones, you know, like Rob, he's got his own that he makes, you know, puts together. You know, if he finds out, you know, there's a whole group of people on the internet that have studied this stuff for decades, and they know exactly. There was always debate of what pickup was used in this, what wood was used in that, blah 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 blah. It's never ending. They fight about it nonstop on Facebook each and every day. They're probably fighting right now about something.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the cool things about making these videos, these hangouts. I figure is we can talk about this stuff on video. You know, and so what's that? That's like a Hot for Teacher.
Yeah, this is a Hot for Teacher I did a number of years ago. It's not reliced as much as it needs to be. That's something that I'm going to be doing. It's reliced a little bit, but I'm going to be doing a lot more relicing to it over the next, you know, few months. Yeah, great guitar, a lot of fun. Just needs a little bit more of a relic job to it, but yeah. But as far as the, I agree with the Johnny. As far as the that amp, no, I've owned 5150s, PEAVEYs, the new EVHs. I've owned a couple of Soldanos. I have owned some Marshall solid state combo amps, but right now, I'd love to own that Marshall. I'd love to have something like that. I'd love to have a Marshall, you know, 69 Super Lead. But for the type of playing that I do right now, I mean, my setup right now is exactly what I want. I have my little Roland Micro Cube right over here, and you know, I have a little Marshall 15-watt practice amp, and then my 5150, and I really don't need anything else. The days of me just buying gear just to have gear are kind of over. I mean, I normally will get the new EVH stuff, although I don't have the 5150 overdrive pedal yet. Maybe one day I'll get it. I don't really need it because I have the sound I want out of my 5150, and now I have that extra cab, you know, the little extra cab to go with my combo. So I used to buy gear just to have it, and then I would just sell it when I didn't use it, and now I kind of got my setup exactly how I wanted, and I don't know. I really have to need the gear now in order to have to want to spend the money to go buy it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, these things are fun to make. They're a blast. They're a hoot. They're a lot of fun. Been doing it a long time, and I'll probably do another one sometime soon. But like I said, I pretty much have the collection kind of where I want it now, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to get one of those 5150 overdrives because I can actually use it.
Yeah,
I can actually use one for recording. I gotta look into getting one of those. Cool, man. Cool. Well, hey, we better split. I know.
Yeah.
You've been on here a lot longer than you wanted to be, and
no, that's cool. This is great.
I got some stuff I got to do. Yeah, we've had a lot of people watching this, so this is great. Thank you, everybody, for watching this stuff, and if you if you have any questions, comments, leave them below. You can always message us. If you have ideas for stuff you want us to talk about, let us know. Comment in the videos. Let us know any ideas. If you'd like to be a guest on one of these, like Rob, like I'm talking to Rob right here, you know, message me. Let me know what's going on. You have to have a Google Plus account. You have to add me to your circles. But yeah, if you'd like to talk about this stuff with us, you're free to talk about the stuff, you know. Oh yeah, my cats want dinner. But yeah, this is great. So yeah, thanks for watching this stuff. And yeah, if you dig this stuff, yeah, subscribe to the channel. You'll get alerted to new stuff. And yeah, we're gonna do this stuff Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, about the same time. So what was it? 5 California time, 8 East Coast.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Look for 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern for a live hangout discussing guitars, music. A lot of Van Halen guitar talk, it seems like, but that's okay. Seems like you guys like this stuff, so I like it. I like it.
Dave Nesdall, hope your gig goes good tonight with Dennis, and talk to you next time.
He's probably restringing a guitar right now, sweating.
Yeah.
That's yelled at.
That's right. He's a roadie tonight, isn't he?
Dave, no, not that guitar, the other one.
Turn the blowers off. Turn the blowers off.
Getting stuff thrown at him.
Remember that in the 2012 tour? Dave was yelling at the roadies, "Turn the damn blowers off." He was always mad because the blowers were off.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get out of here. All right. Oh, and here's Howie. Hey.
Howie.
Hey, kid.
My cat was just up here a minute ago, Jelly Bean, but she took off somewhere.
Cool. Hey.
Hey, Howie.
Hey. Cool. Yeah, everybody's getting ready for dinners and walks, and
Howie's campaigning for dinner.
Yeah. See, there he is. You can see some of them. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, hey, great talking to you, Rob.
You too, Jim.
We'll do this again Friday.
Yes, sir.
If you're around, yeah. So, like I said, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, look for these live hangouts. If you have any questions, comments, if you would like to be a part of this, just let me know. Message me, because I'm the one that has to hit record on these things. Cool. All right. Well, don't hang up, Rob.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody for the questions, comments. Thanks for watching. And johnnybeane.com. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, live on Johnny Beane's YouTube channel. All right. Bye.
Rock on, guys.